We can start.
Oh, that's my date today.
Okay. Do we still hear it? I hear it from somewhere. But it sounds like it's coming from mine. Is your computer volume all the way down from me? Okay. No, I still hear it. Sometimes it's YouTube, but it's muted. Okay. Good. Yes, I think we're good to go. Thank you, everybody. Good evening. Tonight is June the 12th, 2025. It's approximately 6 p.m. My name is Christine Burke. I'm a public utility law judge with the Maryland Public Service Commission. We're here tonight for a public comment hearing in case number 9759, which is captioned the application of Chaverton Solar Pahar LLC for a certificate of public convenience and necessity to construct a 3 megawatt solar photovoltaic generating facility in Caroline County, Maryland. Tonight's hearing is the second hearing in this matter. There was a virtual public comment hearing held on March the 3rd. The purpose of tonight's hearing is to provide an overview of the project from the applicant, to hear the parties that are in the case, their recommendations and positions on the project, as well as take comments from members of the public about the project. If you have not signed the sign-in sheet, I would appreciate that you do if you intend to speak. That way I can call you up in an orderly fashion. There is also some information on the table from the Department of Natural Resources, who is a party to the case, that gives an overview of the project. There is a hard copy of the application that was filed, actually on file here at the library. And there you can access all of the documents that have been filed. They're publicly available on the Maryland Public Service Commission's website. That address is www.psc.state.md.us. That address is on a handout also by the table. If you click on the main homepage, there's a green box. I was just going to demonstrate, but I'm worried about messing up the technology. So there's a green box on the homepage that has a case mail log portal with a folder on it. If you click on that, it'll take you to a screen and you type in the case number, which is 9759, hit enter, and all of the documents that are filed in the case are available there to be viewed or downloaded. You just click on the number that's located on the left-hand side of the screen and all of the documents will open. So anything that's been filed so far is publicly available to view there. To make comments, there are written comments can also be submitted via site. It can be done electronically. There are instructions on the homepage under the tools section of the homepage. It will say make a public comment. Click there. There's instructions on how to file electronically. But you can also file by writing, just old first-class mail. And the address to send written comments to is Jamie Bergen, who's the chief clerk at the Maryland Service Commission. The address is 68 Wall Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 2120. That address is also located on where the sign-in sheets are for tonight's hearing. If you have a question about that or how to file a comment, please see me after the hearing. First, we're going to begin with a brief overview of the project from the applicant, Chaverton, who is here. After that, we're going to hear from the parties that are here as to their recommendations for the project and their positions. Before we do that, I just want to let you know where this case stands procedurally. All the parties have filed their direct testimony in the case that was due on June 4th. If the parties reach a settlement agreement, they are going to notify me by June 17th, and there will be an evidentiary hearing held on June 24th at the Baltimore offices of the Public Service Commission. If there are still contested issues and no settlement in the case, another round of testimony is due to be filed on July 8th with an evidentiary hearing that is scheduled for July 22nd. Again, that hearing will be in Baltimore. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the applicant to give an overview of the project.
Thank you very much, Sharon. May I be given access to share my screen?
Sure. There you go.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lauren Barchi. I'm the community engagement manager for this project, and I'm joined tonight by Paige Over, who is the development manager for this project. So we work for Chaverton Energy. We are a Maryland-based developer, and we are dedicated to working with and caring for local communities. As Judge Brooks said, we are here tonight to discuss Project Pahar, which is planned obviously in Carroll County off of Idlewood Road right here in Federalsburg. We started our outreach for this project in the fall of 2023, including letters to neighbors, in-person neighbor visits. I recognize some of you from the neighborhood. We also held community meetings here, right here in this room, actually, in both fall of 2023 and then again in January of this year. In total, over a dozen neighbors and landowners have been spoken to for this project. Community solar as a project will benefit local communities in many ways, including tax revenue to the state and county, and an annual savings of about $290 for market rate subscribers and over $550 for low and moderate income subscribers for this project. There will also be immediate environmental benefits consistent with Maryland's renewable energy and sustainability goals, including replacing non-renewable sources of energy and planting pollinator habitat that can increase farming production in the local area and support local bee and insect populations. In order to help show our commitment to the community, we will also be working with and donating to nonprofits that work with the local community, including Parents Place of Maryland, which is an organization that works with families with special needs, as well as affordable housing organizations in the area. Community solar is a program that was created and regulated by the state of Maryland. This allows Marylanders to be sure of the savings and benefits that they will receive from the project. Community solar projects are different from utility scale projects in many ways. Utility scale projects are much, much larger. Usually, community solar projects are 40 acres or less, whereas utility scale projects can be 100 or hundreds of acres. The also main difference is that community solar projects connect to your local distribution grid, so the Delmarva grid, and we cannot connect to Choptank, it's just Delmarva. So it benefits the local grid by helping it be more resilient and investing in new infrastructure for Delmarva's grid specifically. Project Pahar, give Paige a second to pull up the site plan, is going to be a 3 megawatt project in the Delmarva service territory on a 42 acre parcel on Idlewood Road. Our proposed project will utilize approximately 20 of the total 42 acres, located about 200 feet south of Idlewild Road, surrounded by existing vegetation screening on the southern, eastern, and western sides of the proposed project location. To gain access to the site, we will create an access road off of Idlewild Road into the project location. The project's access to the site will be controlled via a locked gate with a 7-foot-high agricultural style fence around the perimeter of the project. The solar panels will be mounted on a fixed tilt, which means they won't rotate, so it's a fixed tilt system. There is one location within the project area that will house our inverters and transformers. This equipment bank is located on the northern portion of the project, over 500 feet from any residential parcel. This project is near environmentally sensitive features, such as wetlands south and east of the project and an unnamed tributary east of the project location. However, the development area was carefully selected to avoid negative impacts to those environmental features, and the project has passed the reviews conducted by several state agencies responsible for environmental protection. Additionally, we will be adhering to Caroline County's established best practices for stormwater management and erosion and sediment control to ensure there is no impact to the surrounding streams and wetlands. Regarding viewshed, this project's strategic position within the parcel, coupled with over 2,500 linear feet of existing trees on 3 sides, naturally shields the proposed project from public view. We will be planting a vegetative buffer along Idlewild Road to add to the existing trees in the area. As for interconnection, the project is situated, as I said, within the Delmarva territory, adjacent to an existing 3-phase circuit that has sufficient capacity for the project's interconnection without the requirement of material upgrades. Our plan is to connect to Delmarva's existing circuit along Idlewild Road. So this includes the very brief overview for the project, but for many of you who have gotten my letters and my visits before, I'm available on an ongoing basis for questions. Thank you all very much for your time this evening.
With respect to that screen that was just up, somebody indicated on the online portion that they weren't able to view that didn't show up on the Zoom. Okay. So if you're able to share that particular, the site plan screen.
That's showing up now online?
Yes, okay, I see it. Great. With respect to the other parties that are present here tonight, for the Department of Natural Resources Power Plant Research Program.
Good evening, Your Honor, and members of the public. My name is Supida Pukau. It is spelled Supida Piwkhou. And I am a power plant siting assessor in the Power Plant Research Program, or PPRP, within the Department of Natural Resources, or DNR. I am the project manager for the state's review of the Pahar Community Solar Generating Station that is being previewed tonight. This is what is called a community solar project, and if permitted, will contribute to the state law requiring that by 2030, 50% of the in-state generation come from renewable energy, and that 14.5% come from solar generation. My agency, PPRP, coordinates an independent review of the CPCN application for the reviewing state agencies, which include the Maryland Energy Administration, Departments of Natural Resources, Environment, Agriculture, Transportation, Planning, and Commerce. Once the state's review is complete, the secretaries of DNR and the Maryland Department of Environment, or MDE, make a recommendation to the Public Service Commission as to whether the CPCN should be granted or denied. For this case, the secretaries of DNR and MDE are recommending approval of the CPCN with the incorporation of the recommended licensing conditions that PPRP has submitted for the PSC's review. PPRP's review of this case looked at a number of issues that are factored into the secretarial recommendation. Among these issues are land use, stormwater management, surface water and wetlands, vegetation resources and forest management, wildlife, climate, visual quality and glare, public services and safety, noise, and electromagnetic fields. PPRP also evaluates economic and fiscal issues, transportation, cultural and aesthetic resources, as well as greenhouse gas emission. PPRP filed the recommendation of the Secretaries of DNR and MDE in the report, along with its direct testimony and supporting documents for this case on June 4, 2025, under MLOC number 319400. And these are publicly available and can be reviewed on the PSC website under PSC case number 9759. And as you mentioned, as your Honor mentioned earlier, a settlement status update has been scheduled for June 17, 2025. And if the settlement is reached, an uncontested evidence hearing will be held on June 24, 2025. If contested issues remain, a contested evidence hearing will be held on July 22nd. And on behalf of PPRP, I'm here tonight to listen to public. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
For the technical staff of the Public Service Commission.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good evening. I'm Jennifer Purvis, Assistant Staff Counsel, appearing on behalf of the staff of the Public Service Commission. My role as staff counsel in these hearings is to represent the analysts and technical staff of the Commission in their review of a CPCN application. Staff is a participant by statute in all Commission proceedings, and staff's primary task is to give expert testimony on the effect, if any, of the proposed project on the safety and reliability of the electric grid. Staff filed testimony in support of this CPCN application and has recommending some minor administrative conditions.
Thank you. And who are the commissioners of Caroline County?
Thank you. Good evening, Judge Burke, staff, parties, and most importantly, members of the public. My name is Jesse Hammock, and along with the County Attorney Stuart Barrow, we represent the County Commissioners of Caroline County who oppose this application. I'm going to be brief with regard to my remarks because there are representatives from the County Commissioners as well as the Planning and Codes Department who will speak after me with regard to why the county opposes this application. In summary, however, the Chaverton application is directly contrary to the town of Federalsburg's comprehensive plan, the county's comprehensive plan, the county's zoning ordinance, and state laws that applies to smart growth. The Chaverton property is zoned R1, which in Caroline County does not permit utility scale solar in residential areas because it's incompatible with residents. The Chaverton property is also located immediately adjacent to the town of Federalsburg's water and sewer, which makes it even more unique than just R1 zone. There's only approximately 770 acres in all of Caroline County that is similarly situated to this property. In juxtaposition, there's more than 180,000 acres in Caroline County that is zoned for solar. Finally, the Chaverton property is located dab smack in the middle of the Idlewild community, a residential neighborhood designated in the Federalsburg comprehensive plan as being an important residential area and a growth area for the town of Federalsburg. For those reasons, we are in opposition to the application, and we have submitted testimony to the Public Service Commission in opposition, asking that the application be denied. With that, Commissioner Porter or staff, whoever wants to go first. Commissioner Porter.
Sir, if you could just, before you speak, say and spell your name so that the bar.
Okay. Larry Porter, LARRYPORTER. Judge, work from Caroline County. I think the presenter said Carroll County, but we're in Caroline County. I will address my remarks to the application, case number 9759. I am Larry Porter, Vice President of Caroline County Commissioners. I'm in my 4th term, 15th year. And I appear tonight on behalf of the Caroline County Commissioners in opposition to the above referenced project. Our staff will provide specific reasons and more details for our opposition, but in general, it's because it's not in accordance with our comprehensive plan or provisions of solar legislation that we adopted in 2017 and refined in 2024. The proposed property location is in close proximity to Federalsburg Water and Sewer, and I'll just reiterate the remarks that our attorney, Jesse Hammock, made. I'll close by saying that although the county is vehemently opposed recently passed legislation specifically House Bill 1036 and Senate Bill 931, that preempts counties from oversight and involvement in solar siting. This is the first time, to my knowledge, that we have appeared on record in opposition to a project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else from Caroline County? Say, spell and say your name.
Good evening. My name is Crystal Dadds, CrystalDadds, and I serve as the Director of the Caroline County Planning and Codes Department, and I'm here tonight to speak in opposition to the proposed CPCN solar project. This proposal is fundamentally inconsistent with both the Caroline County zoning ordinance and the Caroline County comprehensive plan. The subject property is zoned R1, single-family residential, which is specifically designated for residential development at a medium density. It is one of the few areas within the county that is located near the incorporated town of Fettlesburg that is served by public water and sewer. This makes it an ideal location for future residential growth, especially the kind of higher density affordable housing that the state of Maryland has long urged local governments to promote near these municipalities with infrastructure capacity. In fact, the state has directed counties and municipalities for years to concentrate growth within and around the towns for precisely this reason. They are best suited to support it. In keeping with this directive, Caroline County has purposefully restricted future growth zoning, like the R1 district, to limited areas surrounding our towns. Our comprehensive plan echoes this policy and specifically seeks to preserve these limited R1 areas for their intended purpose, which is not utility scale solar or commercial solar. Let me underscore just how rare this zoning is in Caroline County. Out of roughly the 205,000 acres countywide, only about 3,600 acres are zoned R1. Of that, even fewer than 780 acres remain undeveloped and are located near a town of water and public water and sewer. That is less than 1/10 of 1% of the county's total land area. And in stark contrast, over 187,000 acres, more than 91% of the land is zoned in a manner that would allow for solar development as a permitted or conditional use. Caroline County is not opposed to solar development. In fact, we have approved more than 1,600 acres of solar projects that were consistent with our zoning regulations and our comp plan. We are also currently working with the same applicant, Chaverton, on a separate site elsewhere in the county, which is appropriately zoned for solar and has not met any restrictions or resistance from our office. But this proposed project does not align with our zoning ordinance, our comprehensive plan, or the state of Maryland's smart growth principles. More importantly, it risks consuming land that is critically needed to meet Maryland's pressing housing needs. Currently, Maryland faces a total housing supply gap of 96,000 units statewide. Costs are high. Roughly 1/3 of Maryland households now pay 30% or more of their income on housing. And the share of residents that experience a severe cost burden are paying 50% or more. That has risen dramatically. These shortfalls and burdens are not isolated to just the urban areas. They occur statewide from Western Maryland to the Eastern Shore. That means even rural counties like Caroline are feeling the strain, especially given the limited amount of land that is designated for the higher density residential development. This project would take away one of the few prime locations available for such development in Caroline County. In closing, I urge the Commission to consider this precedent that it would set. Approving this project on an R1 zone land would undermine decades of careful planning, local autonomy, and state growth policy. We do have ample land available for solar development. Let's not sacrifice that rare land that we have set aside for our future residents. Thank you for your time. Good evening. My name is Ellie. I'm the Assistant Director of Planning, Caroline County Department of Planning and the state of Maryland has, for decades by law, directed counties and municipalities to guide future growth toward existing municipalities. Caroline County, in wholehearted support of protection of rural and agricultural lands, has accordingly reduced its acreage of R1 residential zoning, carefully retaining R1 zoning on parcels located in close proximity
municipality. These R1 parcels are the county's only remaining opportunities for compact or smart growth residential development in areas of existing infrastructure. Compact residential development located in close proximity to municipal or existing infrastructure is more affordable to home buyers, renters, and taxpayers because it eliminates the cost to extend expensive infrastructure far out into the rural areas of the county. R1 zoning is a precious resource that can net far-reaching benefits, including a measurable increase in housing stock, which offers stability for the county's current and future labor force, which in turn supports local businesses and industries and the future fiscal health of the county and its municipalities. The Chaverton site's location is uniquely beneficial for R1 residential development due to its proximity to Federalsburg, which is a municipality with a treatment plant that has both ample available capacity and a wastewater system with the highest nutrient removal technology available, which means it has the lowest possible impact to water quality in rivers and streams. There is only one other town in the county that can offer the same combination of advantages. The county has over 180,000 acres of land in zoning districts that permit solar development and less than 780 acres of undeveloped land in the R1 zoning district, where solar development is not permitted. The county's remaining supply of buildable R1 residential parcels is a crucial component of the county's strategy to address affordable housing needs. Reducing the supply of buildable R1 land will significantly diminish the county's ability to adequately plan for and meet the housing needs of the county's population. The Chaverton site's small gain in megawatts will have a direct negative impact on the already extremely limited supply of land available for affordable housing, and far-reaching impacts on housing and employment stability in the county. The gain is not worth the cost. Thank you for your time.
Should I grab it? No, list it. I don't want to. You're for the county. Okay, sorry. Please state your name.
M-A-T-T A-A-C-Z S-K-R. Good evening. My name is Matt Kaczynski. I'm the Assistant Director of Development Review with Planning Codes Department for Caroline County. In this capacity, it's my duty as the Assistant Director of the Department, just Assistant Director, Ms. Stats, who's already spoken, with administration and enforcement of land use and zoning regulations. One of my primary duties includes development review of applications just like this for compliance with local, state, and federal regulations. One of the tools I use for this duty is Caroline County's comprehensive plan. Comp plan is used as a guidance document for protecting public health, safety, and welfare by projecting population needs and making recommendations to ensure those needs are met. The plan provides a framework for land use regulations by setting goals and objectives for the vision of the county and its citizens and what they want for the future. A key component used for setting goals and objectives is the use of zoning regulations. Caroline County zoning regulations are based on approved zoning district boundaries. Each zoning district has permitted uses which are identified within the zoning chapter of the county code. The proposed use specified by the applicant is an allowable use within the R-Rural zoning district, the C2 general commercial zoning district, and the I2 light industrial zoning district. This proposed project that we're discussing tonight is not located in any one of those three allowable zoning districts. The specific use proposed does not comply with the county zoning regulations, nor does it meet the intent of our comprehensive plan. It is our understanding that the state of Maryland entrusts its local jurisdictions with land use planning authority. However, the state continues to pass legislation which makes it difficult for local jurisdictions to enforce local laws and to plan for our future. In 2012, the state passed the Sustainable Growth in Agricultural Act, which required all Maryland counties to submit plans for a 4-tier system, known as the septic tiers, into their planning and zoning maps, which would direct where new growth and development should be located. That law has severely restricted residential developments because it dictates the type of sewage disposal systems that can be used in certain areas. Our land use authority for zoning designations, which could be used to establish areas for higher density residential projects like this, was basically stripped away with the passage of that law. Developing a subdivision on septic systems is not ideal because of the large land area that's required for individual on-site sewage disposal systems. The average lot size for a residential parcel in Caroline County developed on septic systems is 3.5 acres. The reason for this is because state law dictates the minimum size requirement for a sewage reserve area, which is directly related to soil infiltration rates. Soil is always the most limiting factor when establishing a residential subdivision. Infrastructure costs are a very close second. Building roads and stormwater facilities takes up additional land and can become extremely expensive. Developing a residential subdivision on a parcel which is close to existing infrastructure, such as water and sewer, greatly reduces the amount of land required for construction and completely eliminates the need to address issues with soil infiltration rates. Given that the proposed parcel is zoned R1, it would allow for greater density of housing. This parcel is also immediately adjacent to the town of Fredericksburg, which has public water and sewer available. These two factors, zoning and proximity to public infrastructure, make this parcel an ideal candidate for housing development, which our zoning ordinance allows, not a commercial solar development, which our zoning ordinance does not allow. Commercial solar facility at this location would go directly against our zoning ordinance and completely contradict the intent of our comprehensive plan, as well as the smart growth initiatives that the state has touted and pushed for decades. So for those reasons, we're opposed to the CPN project at this location.
I'm going to call for those of you that have signed up to participate online. I'm going to start with the people that are here, and then we will turn to you to have your comments as well. There are a number of people that are here. I'll start in no particular order with Cedric Pickens.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you indicated you did not want to speak?
Yeah, but I think it's changed.
Okay, so please,
Yeah,
I need you to just to approach only because of sound limitations, so that we can make sure it's on the record.
Cedric, CEDRIC. Last name is Pinkins, PINCKENS. Yeah, I came up here, I'm a retired general surgeon, I'm up here in Fredericksburg. And I came here from Virginia Beach today for this meeting. I do have adjacent property at 3443 Longville Road to the proposed project. One of my questions is, the owners of this land, this town, this county, has supported your businesses for a long period of time. My question to you would be, wouldn't you want residents in this area, which is less than a mile from one of your establishments, to further support your business? And also for charity, if you have other multiple sites in the county, why is this site so important to you? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Rodney Evans.
ODNEYEEANS. When I first got this information as far as the solar farm, it kind of blew my mind because sometimes I just don't understand certain things. And then when I started reading up on it and found out that it was it's R1 and it's just for residential, that kind of confused me also because I just don't understand how you can put something commercial in a residential, especially when you have limited space. So as long as I've been here, I'm born and raised in Fredericksburg. It's always been like an industrial town, plenty of jobs, and I'm looking for that to come back. Fredericksburg's going to need somewhere to build property, townhomes, especially as far as I'm concerned. I live at 3505 Log Grove Road. I don't live there now, but that's where my resident is. And because of that, it's right in back of me. Okay, now at the same time, they talk about having a buffer around there. So, but yet Chop Tank Electric can't have it. I don't understand why Chop Tank Electric can't have it. Could you explain that for me? Or at least.
I'd rather you wait until the end. So that everyone has a chance to say their position and comment. If you have specific questions at the end, please hold them. And if you want, whoever's here will be able to answer them after the comment.
That's no problem.
Thank you.
But sometimes I have problems understanding that. Delmarva Power can do it. Chop Tank. What's going on there? So at the same time, I oppose this, farm. So You know, that's pretty much it for me. I'm gonna read something real quick here, if you don't mind. Because I grew up farming a little bit, not no big time farmer, but I did grow up farming just a little bit. And I realized it's important to turn soil over. If you don't turn soil over, it can lose its nutrients. I have this right here. It says, how long does it take for soil to go bad without tilling? It's not that the soil will suddenly go bad or become unusable. However, the beneficial effects of healthy soil structure and high nutrient content will gradually diminish without some level of intervention or replenishment of organic matter. So if we're going to lose on the tilling and farming for maybe 10, 15, 30 years or whatever, and then we're going to lose on property building tax dollars for Carolina County. And I think with the economy right now, I'm sure Carolina County can use some more tax dollars. I'm definitely opposed just for those two reasons alone. Thank you.
Larry Porter. Oh, I'm sorry, you did speak. Mario Havo? Or Marlo? I'm sorry that I can't read the writing.
Yes, Mario Hart. Yeah, I live in.
Spell your name, please.
Yeah, Mario Mario Haro. And I live in 3457 Laurel Road. And I believe if this project goes through, I have to move. I have to sell my house because I don't want to live like that. And I oppose. Yeah, why they have to put that in between the houses when there's a lot of land where they can build far away for the community? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. John Williams? Oh, do you have a no checked? Is that no? Okay. Bad at reading the no, sorry.
My name is John Williams, J-O-A-N-W-I-L-L-I-M-S. I'm the president of the Community Civic League. We own the big building on Laurel Grove Road. I don't think it's going to affect me, but from what I'm learning here is it seems like the state of Maryland is going against itself because of housing. I get these emails from the state of Maryland all the time, and they keep putting money into housing. And if this land is used for solar, it's not going to be used for housing. So it seems like they're going against themselves. The other point is that there's other properties available for this solar. Why they have to put it there? I don't understand that. Secretary spoke on that. And the other issue is it's against the comprehensive plan for Caroline County. So it seems like we can do something different and satisfy everybody. That's just a point. Okay.
Rosa Havo? Haro?
Well, they're the same.
Okay. So, Sheila Durant?
Hi.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, stand right.
R. Sheila. Listen, I wasn't going to say anything, but they help. I don't understand how finances, taxes, the economic burden on the county is so great, and at the same time, all of this dialogue about not wanting a new project that's going to bring at least 53 jobs to the community for people to work. What has anybody said anything about the current? There are owners of the property. They are now, their status is that of agricultural use. But what are you going to do with that?
Hey, you don't get any, do you get taxes from agricultural use right now? I mean, does anybody know? If you don't, you're not making any money right now. So what do you do with the owner who has this land? This is not, I think she said, I mean, weren't there two types of solar farms, the utility kind and there's a smaller kind? So all of this dialogue, all of this fear is around utility type larger projects. This is not a large project, this is a small project. Designed in a way, if it's successful, in a way where it's going to cover the things that would normally be visually not pleasing. So to the people who live in the residential community, this will be attractive land that is now not exposed for you. But otherwise, we're not talking about a 10, 15, $20 million acre plot of land. We're talking about something that's going to bring jobs to this community that is suffering. That's my position. The agricultural land right now, you can't throw him out. You can't throw the family out. The family is a strong family here, been contributed for years. So what do you do with their ownership? They own it now. They're going to keep on farming it. And then while they're farming it, you get nothing. So please rethink it. It's a reason why I came is I read a letter from the law department. It was skewed against the owners. Law departments work for the benefit of all of the cities. I mean, when you're going to state the facts, state the facts. This right now, if you go to SDAG, this property is the status is that of agricultural. It's not residential. They keep talking about this residential. The truth of the matter is, its status is agricultural. This is the agricultural community. You don't have enough money here. You need to grow, but grow in a way that makes some sense. So we're not talking about large scale development, small development in a way. A lot of energy has been expended to make it visually nice community. So this fear that is being raised by the law department, suggesting that this is always counter to what the plan should be, please rethink. You want to bring jobs, you want to bring life.
Thank you. Person check no, and I can't read it. Franklin, is it you?
It's cute.
You.
No.
Okay. Heidi Ferguson did not check whether or not, did Heidi Ferguson want to speak?
No.
Okay. Shirley Green?
I'm here. I do not want to say anything at this time, but I just will later.
Thank you. First, no, did not want to check yes. William Brigg?
William, W-I-L-L-I-E, Briggs, B-R-I-G-G-S. Yes, I grew up in Phillipsburg, and lived here for years now. I currently live in Newark, Delaware. Just to let you know, I'm not opposed to solar energy. I have solar cells in my house. I've had for years, about 15 years now. But I currently live at 4310 Phillipsburg Highway. I came down to support the county commissioners and my friends supporting this effort. It doesn't directly affect me now. It's just the idea that it's zone R1 is most important. And in my life of growing up here, we still like they need houses. So why put a unit like this or solar cells in an area where you need help? And that's the most important. Many units like that. So I support the county commissioners.
Arlene Rickson?
B-A-R-L-E-N, last name R-I-C-H-E, Assistant of the Forms and Needs.
Good evening to Judge Burke, state, county, and local representatives present, and to all of you. I was born and raised in Federalsburg. The property that I own, which adjoins the property that Chaperton proposes to place 7,776 solar panels, traces back 3 generations before me. Most of us that live or have property on Ottawa Road, Laurel Grove Road, and Old Denton Road grew up together. Our parents grew up together and remained friends throughout life, as did our grandparents. We went to the elementary school located in this community, and most of us worshiped at Zion Methodist Church at the intersection of Laurel Grove and Old Denton Roads. This is a long existing residential neighborhood. I adamantly oppose this application. While acreage zoned for solar comprises more than 91% of the county's land, Chaperton proposes to locate this 7,776 panel solar field on exceedingly rare acreage, suitable for housing that comprises at best less than 1/2 of the county's overall acreage. So why this neighborhood? Was it because they didn't think that this demographic would present the same type of pushback that you might get or receive from a more affluent neighborhood? Or was it that they thought this would be a good test case to see how far they could go with upending zoning laws in Caroline County? Actually, I think it's both. The county commissioners originally denied this application for very good and solid reasons. Now Chaperton has gone to the state because they're obviously pretty confident they're going to get a favorable ruling. Otherwise, they would have chosen a more suitable location. Every person in Caroline County, and I dare say every homeowner who is living on R1 land in the state of Maryland, needs to be very afraid of their R1 residential zoning rights being encroached upon. If I'm a retiree, or even if it's a young couple thinking about moving to Maryland, approval of this Chaperton application here in the middle of an entrenched, thriving community would certainly give me pause before buying. How can a potential homeowner trust that R1 residential property that they move to won't have a commercial, industrial, and privately owned solar field move into the neighborhood, maybe right next to your property, if there happens to be acreage? If it can happen to me, it can happen to you. If Chaperton receives this Ottawa Road approval, it will be open season on residential properties throughout the state of Maryland. Potential residents of the county and of Maryland can have no trust in the zoning process. The people currently living in Maryland and potential residents need to understand this risk. R1 should mean R1. Just because it's been allowed to be used as agricultural is no reason to disregard the whole R1 zoning ordinance that the county has so carefully implemented. I'm not opposed to development either. The house that I grew up on in Fredericksburg now has new townhomes behind it. I didn't oppose that. That's the type of development that helps my property value. I'm not even against solar. It just needs to be constructed where it makes sense. Placing a solar field in the middle of a residential neighborhood drops property values for everyone in the neighborhood while enriching a few who are not even a part of the fabric of the neighborhood, Fredericksburg, or Caroline County. Neither Chaperton nor the owner of the land they propose to build on care about this neighborhood or the people who make this residential neighborhood what it is. In their application, they propose to use my trees as a barrier to their privately owned solar field. How disrespectful is that? The applicant's so-called glare study predicts no glare from 7,776 solar panels. Was this study conducted at night? So they've come after the farms. Now they're coming after R1 zone properties. They're coming after our homes and legacies. Property values will drop to next to nothing. I cannot believe within my heart that Governor Westmore envisioned this type of encroachment the long-standing neighborhoods when he signed the Renewable Energy Certainty Act. Because this will literally make our land worthless and destroy what we and our ancestors have built. Judge and state, county, and local representatives present, it means a lot that you're taking the time to listen to our concerns. We sincerely hope you find all our testimony credible and useful. To close, I am fervently opposed to this application. We ask that you weigh the long-term implications to not just our Ottawa neighborhood, but to all R1 zone neighborhoods in the state of Maryland. We ask that you deny this application. Thank you.
Is there anybody that wanted to speak that is present in the room tonight that did not sign up or did not have an opportunity to do so? If you would like to speak, this is your opportunity to do that. Your comments are important, and that's what we're here for. So if you do, please raise your hand. Okay. Since no one's raising their hand, I do have people online that I'm going to call on that signed up virtually to participate. First, I have April Pillen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
If you could just say and spell your name for the record.
Aprile, P as in Peter, ILON.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with the last speaker's comments. My own home and neighborhood is being threatened by a similar installation by Chaverton that's going to be, or is targeting a huge field that is nestled in amongst dozens and dozens of homes in an area where there are no fire hydrants and no public water. And even though my property does not abut the proposed solar array, I'm very concerned about the elevated fire risk, especially given that solar arrays are known to elevate the local temperature. And one can only imagine what might happen in a drought during the summer in a field where the grass is dry and the temperature is increased by the solar heat island effect. And I think Maryland is making a tremendous mistake by allowing these installations to be sprinkled in amongst rural areas that have no defense against fire. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Diego Calderon.
Yes, hi, Diego Calderon. My question is about the zoning. How can, with the stroke of a pen, agricultural zoning be changed to commercial zoning for a commercial venture, which is the same thing that's happening in an adjacent neighborhood to me? You know, we rely upon the zoning of the surrounding areas when we buy our homes for safety and otherwise, and now it's being changed by somebody in Annapolis who knows nothing about Federalsburg or knows nothing about Darnestown, Maryland, where I live. What's the point of zoning if it can just be changed, not on a case-by-case basis? I'd love an answer to that.
I can't answer your question. I'm here to listen to comments. So I don't know that anyone can speak to that particular question, but I have wrote it down and will consider it in comments of the proposed order.
Thank you.
Does that conclude your comments?
Yes.
Thank you. Paul Garrett. He's not in the call, okay. Doug Ortega. You just have to unmute yourself, sir. You're muted. Mr. Ortega? I see that you're there. Can you hear us? We cannot hear you if you're speaking. No. I am not able to hear you, sir. And I see it keeps muting and unmuting. So that is the last person that I have got signed up online. I still have some people walk in. Is there anybody here that I haven't called on that was just a comment that would like to? No? Okay. Again, if you would like to comment, there's still time. The deadline to submit comments will be tomorrow, June 13th. And you can do that via the Public Service Commission's website. There were instructions over there. That's at www.psc.state.md.us. If you just Google Maryland Public Service Commission, you'll get to our website. There's instructions under the tools section, which is about halfway down the page. If you click on that, it'll take you to where you can electronically file, or also there's instructions on how to mail those in. Where this case stands as far as the next thing procedurally will be an advisement to meet next week. That will be June 17th, whether or not there is a settlement in the hearing. If there are still contested issues in this case, a second round of testimony will be filed on July 8th and an evidentiary hearing on July 22nd. Again, your participation tonight is critical and very important in everything to do with the case. Everything that you said tonight will be considered when I draft my proposed order. If there's nothing else, I appreciate everybody's participation. Thank you. We go on the record.